Right, so in this video we're going to talk about using tables and graphs in order to help you solve problems with ratios. And so number 3, it starts off with saying stickers are made with the same ratio of width to length. A sticker that measures 2 inches wide has a length of 4 inches. Complete the table. So if we know that a sticker that's 2 inches wide has a length of 4 inches, then I can go ahead and fill up my first blank here. So for 2 inches wide, I have 4 inches long. For the next one, it will make things a lot easier to transition if I can put this ratio that I already found in simplest form. So I've got the ratio 2 over 4, or 2 to 4. And to put it in simplest form, I'm going to find the biggest number that goes into 2 and 4. And that number is going to be 2. So I'm going to divide both of these by 2 here. And I'm going to find that my simplest form of this ratio is going to be 1 over 2. Now what this is saying is that I have 1 inches in width for every 2 inches in length. What I set up right there is just a rate, okay? So we're saying there's 1 inch in width for every 2 inches in length. Now, if I want to use this ratio that I found right here, 1 to 2, in order to fill in the rest of my table, I can think about the fact that I can just multiply my, well, I can try to say I'm going to make an equivalent ratio, I guess probably would be the easiest way. And I know I want my top number to be 4. If I want my top number to be 4 and I have no clue what my bottom number is, I've got to figure out what you do to 1 to make the 4. So in order to make a 1 into a 4, I had to multiply by 4. And whatever I multiply on the top by, I have to do it on the bottom. So 1 times 4 would have given you 4. 2 times 4 would have given you 8. So down here, we would have had to have 8 for our length. Similarly, if I wanted to use this ratio 1/2 to tell you what the length would be if your width is 7, you got to think about what you multiply by 1 to get 7. Well, you multiplied 7. If you multiply that on the top, you would have had to do it on the bottom, and you would have got 14 down here. So you would have got 14 for that blank. And one more, we'll keep that same ratio, and we're trying to make the bottom number be 16. So if I'm trying to make the bottom number 16, I'm going to multiply 2 times 8 would have given me the 16 down here. If I multiply by 8 down there, I've got to do it on top. So I will end up with an 8 on top here. And so I can fill in my table. Now this is just one of the ways to work these problems. There's a couple more, and I'm really going to just show you one other way, okay? And it'll be real quick, just show you how else you could have got this. So think about, we would have still set up our column saying we've got 2 and we've got 4 down here in the bottom. Now you could have thought, instead of doing all this work down here in the bottom, you could have thought through, what do you multiply by 2 to get 4? Well, you multiplied 2. 2 times 2 would have given you 4. Guys, it's going to be the same. You're going to multiply by the exact same thing for each one of these. So we're saying 4 times 2 will give us our answer down here, 8. 7 times 2 will give your answer down here, which was 14. Now this one would have been a lot more tricky. If it was blank still, we would have not had a clue what that 8 even existed. But we could have done, instead of multiplying, since we've got a number in the opposite place, we'll do the opposite operation to multiply. And I'm going to say I'm going to divide by 2. 16 divided by 2 would have given you the 8, just like we found. So there is a pattern to it, and this requires a lot less work and a lot less writing than the first method I showed you. But you got to make sure that you are able to really think through this. And if you're having trouble seeing this, where you can multiply by 2 and then divide by 2, then you need to try to set up the problem like we did here in red, okay? Now it says, what are the equivalent ratios shown in the table? Well, our equivalent ratios would have been 2 over 4, 2, 4. We would have had 4 to 8, excuse me. We would have 7 to 14, and 8 to 16. And guys, these are all equivalent ratios. If you had wanted to, you could have simplified these down to their lowest ratio, lowest form, and that would also have been an equivalent ratio, okay? And each one of these, if you simplified each one of these ratios, you would have got the exact same ratio as your answer for each one, okay? Number 4 wants you to use this information that we just used in 3 to graph the relationship between the width and the length of the stickers from exercise 3. So, I can get my red back here. I'm wanting to graph on this little graph grid, and it's going to be a little hard because it's a little small. I'm going to zoom in some. But I need to use my points that I've got here, and I know they're not in the form of an ordered pair, but we can make it so. From my first column would have given me an ordered pair of 2, 4. My second one would have given me an ordered pair of 4, 8. My third column would have given me the ordered pair 7, 14. And my fourth column would have given me 8, 16. And so now they're in the form of something that I know how to graph. Remember, the first number is your x, and so that's the one that's going to tell you how far you go along this horizontal x-axis. The second number is your y, so that's going to tell you how high you have to go up. So let's go here first. We've got to go to the right 2, and we've got to go up 4, and plot a point. Then I've got to go to the right 4, go up 8, and plot a point. Then for this third point, I've got to go to the right 7 and up 14, and I got to plot a point. This last one, 8, 16, go to the right 8, up 16, and I plot a point. Now that I have all my points drawn, I can connect. And make sure you always include that arrow at the end saying that you can keep going on forever, okay? These are just some of the points. These are just the ones that we ended up having on our table, but there are so many other points that could represent a width and a length of a sticker that would have worked and had the same ratio, okay? Let's go on to the other page here. I've got another problem for us. And this one says that 5 boxes of candles contain a total of 60 candles. Each box holds the same number of candles. Complete the table and graph the relationship. So if it says that 5 boxes of candles contain a total of 60 candles, I can go ahead and fill that part in my table right here. So for 5 boxes of candles, I've got 60 total candles. Now that I have that already, I can think through, all right, well, I'll use my quick method here. 5 times what gives me 60? Well, that's 12. So that told me what I've got to multiply by or divide by to find either one of these other missing blanks. This one, 8, I would have to multiply it by 12. 8 times 12 should give you 96. And then we're still wanting to deal with this 120. However, this one's a little harder. I don't have a number up top. I've got my number down here. I'm going to end up having to divide by 12 instead of multiplying. So I got to divide by 12, and I actually end up with 10 boxes. Okay? So we filled in our table. This is much less work than what we did that whole process with on the previous page. However, if this is difficult for you to see the multiplying by 12 or dividing by 12, then make sure that you do that work so that you get the correct answer. And then we've got a graph. So let's get our points. Our ordered pairs that we have here. We want boxes to be the one that's going along our X, and we have candles to be the one that's going along your Y. So our ordered pairs are going to be 5, 60, then 8, 96, and 10, 120. So we're going to plot these on your coordinate grid here. Let's go up to 5. Then all the way up to 60. Now 60 is a little hard to see on this graph. I would say, let's see, we're going up 12 for each little tick mark here, 36. And so 60 should actually be between 48 and 72. If for each little tick mark going up, we're going up 12. So just be very careful with that. So if we're going to the point 5, 60, I'm going to put my point right there. Then I'm going to do the point 8, 96. There's my point. Then the point 10, 120. There's my point. And now I can connect all of my points to make a line. And remember to have that arrow on that line so that you don't forget. You're going to continue to, that line can continue. That graph will go on forever. Okay. So I hope this video helped. Good luck on any homework and future tests.